back to another Unorthoblocks podcast. This week we are going to be joined with Teach, of course, as well as Sunny Spacecraft as they discuss how they use real world inspiration, such as books and music and games, as inspiration in Minecraft. So join them today as they discuss different ways to look at the game.
So
Mm-hmm.
this is a conversation, all right, with Sunny Spacecraft,
Mm-hmm.
and welcome to Unorthocast. And
Thank you.
Sunny Spacecraft built this amazing scenery that we are
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
hopefully editing teach can make like a fly by feature teach do it. It looks amazing,
Thank
and
you.
we are in this Zen garden with a lot of yeah, sniffers um, and
Yes.
people flying around and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we are a busy server. We are a busy server today,
Yes. Today.
and yeah, this is Sunny, uh, and you build big stuff and
Yeah.
do long time lapses and stuff like that. If you guys want to go and check it out later in the description, there is like a link and go over and follow Sunny
Mm-hmm.
Spacecraft. And I am the real bit teacher and on Orthoblock's YouTube channel. Thank you for letting me use it. It's gonna be crazy.
Yes. Thanks for
So
having me teach and into the whole Unorthocast.
yeah, and this is a live recording also. We are
Yes.
doing it live.
Live
We
studio
are,
audience.
yeah. So if you want to be cool,
Mm-hmm.
join the Unearthed Zone
Mm-hmm.
Discord server. It's like the coolest place to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now we have done that. Um,
Yeah.
this is going well.
This is
This
going
is
so well, guys.
yeah. This is amazing. Thank you for whoever sleeps. Uh,
Yes. Let's see. I can press
yeah.
F1. We can find out real quick. Maybe. No,
Yeah.
wait, no, because it doesn't tell us because we're cursed on this
No.
server.
Yeah. So, whoever sleeps,
Thanks.
thank you. Um, can you sleep like so we don't get the night shots? And
I
when
do
I
love when the
say
sun crests over your face. It's
yeah,
quite beautiful. It's that nice glow.
yeah, it's so nice. It's amazing. But today, and why we are doing this actually is because we want to get to know people on this server
Mm-hmm.
a little bit more and go deeper than our conversations that we have. And we have like amazing conversations on our
We
Discord
do.
server. Um, and it like every conversation should be an own podcast,
Mm-hmm.
like really. And today we're gonna talk a little bit about your literature, like
Mm-hmm.
books,
Yeah.
inspiration, music. We are gonna talk about what impact music has, creative process, integration, and we are gonna also talk about how, like, giving some advice on how to be creative and the process that it's all about.
See what
But
that is.
I'm gonna, yeah, I'm gonna start all my interviews or these talks with this question. Everyone is gonna get it. Why
Mm-hmm.
is the book upside down?
Oh. Oh. Because we are in Ortho. Okay, I don't know if anyone's noticed, but we're all a little weird in our own ways. And that's my
Yeah,
answer. It's very simple and sweet, but I don't know. It's because we are ourselves. You know?
I think I'm gonna
We
get a
encourage
really
the
good.
weirdness.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get so many good answers
I
to
think you
that
are
question.
too.
It's
Compilation.
yeah, it's like the best start of the interview. Um, so books,
Mm-hmm.
reading. I
Yes.
see that this, like where we are sitting here, is very fantasy esque
Yes.
kind of a build, and I can see a lot of where you drawn your inspiration. I can see a little bit of Tolkien. I can see
Mm-hmm.
more like all of these great authors that has written great stories about their I think their vision of how their Earth is more like it's
Yeah.
something. So, can you share me some of your favorite books?
Favorite books. I usually think of them like in series. I love, despite how happy the Sun Garden looks, I love the Witcher books a lot. I like the dark grittiness of them, and then of course, like the Expanse series for my Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi, really? Sci-fi? Hello, hello,
Wi-Fi,
my yeah.
Wi Wi-Fi series.
Jesus. Um, and of course, I love. There's a lot of classics I love. Like I know it's some people absolutely loathe The Great Gatsby, but
Oh,
but
I
like
had a skeleton
I
here.
know it's fine. His head popped up for a second, but it's fine. Um, and then I did go through a phase where I read all of the classics. It was like those lists where it's like top 100 like required reading classics. I read
Yeah,
all of those. Some of them I've completely forgotten about, but there's some that stick with me, obviously. Um, and then like I don't know, I just have a wide variety, but I am very always drawn to like the fantasy adventure stuff. So of course I
yeah.
love Tolkien, and of course I love my brain is farting right now, don't mind me. Just but stuff. Okay, I like the
Stuff.
fantasy. And I lean more nowadays towards like gaslamp fantasy. Like or like horror fantasy or gothic or something like that. That's what I'm currently sitting on.
Your season has been really fantasy,
Hmm. I love
like this.
fantasy.
Yeah, it's like when you come here, you get like this feeling of maybe not Tolkien. It's like a more like I don't know.
Well, I when I was reading, or when I was around the time I was building this, I can't pinpoint the exact title, but I read a lot of fantasy with romance subplots, which I'm not gonna get into in this podcast. But it was one of those, and it had a really beautiful, like, fantastic world where it had big statues and floating mountains, and it seemed like there were no rules, but there were, and so I
Yeah,
just kind of ran with that with this. Um, I can't remember exactly which book it was right now though, which is the sad part. I'm gonna have to pull up my Kindle app.
I mean, it's like you. It's very utopian when you come
Hmm.
here. It's like this perfect harmony of like cows and I don't know, like fantasy and like
Hmm.
magic. It's like a magic place, really. It's like you come into like a Tolkien, maybe a little bit of a Harry Potter world when you come here, and then you like feel like you're one with it. This is one of my favorite places on the server
Oh,
to be.
thank you. I love
Actually,
it.
it's such a good build, and it makes like, and this is why I love Minecraft. It's like this escape of reality that we get
Hmm.
to go. Um,
Yeah, I literally called it the Zen Gardens for a reason.
yeah, it is Zen.
Yeah.
Um, how do you get like when you read a book, for
Hmm.
example, how do you get from that stage where you're reading it to a stage where you get to vision how a build should become in Minecraft?
So how I go from the book to kind of like my creative
Yeah,
sketch in Minecraft or in a creative game. Um, Yeah, I mean, I'm a visual. I've said this before, but I'm a visual thinker. So when I'm reading a book, I'm very much one of those people who go off and it plays out like a movie, right? So
yeah,
whatever the author has provided to me, I have created this whole image in my head. So I already have a visual. Um, Sometimes it's not perfect and sometimes it's not possible, but it's already there. It already exists. So then in a game, especially like Minecraft, or sometimes I play Planet Zoo or like those other games, I just look at what's available to me and try to work out the shape or like some kind of at least abstract and then build on that, if that
Yeah.
kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
And sometimes it really is just more about the vibe than the actual visual. um
Mhm.
but yeah, I go from the book and then I will make kind of an abstract sketch or an idea of what I want. Sometimes I write it down, or sometimes I pop in a creative world, and then I just build. Like in here, I wanted that big statue, but she couldn't be alone, and she's very tall. So then the floating islands happen and the vines happen because I wanted movement, right? Like when you're reading an adventure fantasy, there's movement, there's action. So that's kind of, I don't know. I just pulled the vibe from it, the energy.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. That's like the feeling of like when you get like into uh, when you have I one of my favorite books from 2024 or 2023 was Ready Player Go. No,
Ah,
yeah.
yes. Yeah.
Uh, um, and my like if you go to my like the cherry blossom tree area of my base,
Mm-hmm.
you will see these stacks,
Yes.
and
Yes.
those stacks are like from that book because I'm also a visual thinker. I think like if you're doing like if you're a builder in Minecraft, you really need to be a visual thinker
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because it's harder otherwise. It's like I'm not very good at taking a picture and remaking that picture because that's
No.
no fun.
No. No. You won't catch me doing pixel art.
Yeah. And I will never ever like people who do pixel art. You guys are amazing
I
and
know.
crazy people. They are crazy
They're
people, right? Really.
insane, but I love it.
Mhm. Did you know that someone made like the philosopher, like you have that painting, the philosophers,
Yeah.
like yeah, the thinkers or whatever they are
I
called.
saw that
Then
recently.
someone made it as a pixel art,
Yes. Oh,
like
it's so
and
pretty.
and yeah, it's like one to one. I think they used like 4K or something like that. It's stupid. It's stupid. They
It
like
is.
it's just like it's so stupid. I'm like thinking, couldn't you just make a mod for this?
No, what's the fun of that though? It's like a puzzle.
Uh, I think Jam would have said actually make a mod of it or a model of
Making a
it.
custom model.
Yeah. I think that would be something that
Hmm.
Jam would have actually
We
said, and not putting Jam on the spot, but
no, 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 no.
yeah.
No, yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
what challenges? If you say that you're gonna build like from a book, what is the biggest challenge?
It is just figuring out if it's even possible. So one of my examples, my tent in my on my main base, the whole carnival in the tent is based off a book called Carnival. Um, and
And
hello,
hello,
sniffer.
it's like I wanna be in this.
He's like, I want to be here.
Yeah.
Oh,
All
hey,
right.
buddy. But we're
They're
just
not
gonna.
very smart.
They
They're not very
aren't. They
smart.
aren't. He'll go away at some point. But no, it's based off a book called Carnival. And the whole story is you get a golden ticket to go to this carnival, and it's like a once in a lifetime type of thing. Like it's really limited and stuff. And the whole premise is remember that nothing is real and you cannot leave until the carnival is over. So people are stuck here for a week. And one of my favorite parts of that book was finally getting to the carnival and then walking in, and there's like all this super fancy drapery and like it's really nice. And they pull back the drapes, and the main character is standing on a balcony inside of this place and looking down on an entire city. And obviously, like I loved that idea, loved that concept of like you walk in this place that is unsuspecting, And you step out into a balcony, and there's an entire city down below, like hundreds and hundreds or thousands of feet below, where the game is going to play out. But in Minecraft, I think I would have had to put the tent up in the sky to make that work. Like, it would have been incredibly difficult to convey that. So I settled just for the big oversized tent and like the kind of dark creepy factor, which isn't even that dark. It's still more fantasy. Like, but like, it's really hard
Yeah.
to get like a super thrill guy. I need you to, but
He really doesn't want to
he
move.
really doesn't want to leave. I'm going to get up in a second and chase him away. But yeah, I was taking pieces by pieces, like the big drapery with the trim on it, the scale of everything, you know. And that's just how I took from that. Even some of the colors, I remember them specifically mentioning like the blacks and the magentas and the like that kind of stuff. I think they're still your typical colors, kind of like my outfit currently, the crimson with the gold and the black. But I remember somebody in that book wearing this really crazy magenta dress, and I just kind of like combined some facts and went with it. I was like, this is my tent now. I know. Hold on. Let me see if I can coax him away. Hey, buddy. I can't see. Come here. Come here. It's just so stupid. I'm gonna have to surround us in things just to be able to do an interview uninterrupted. I feel bad for anyone that's listening on like a different.
If you are listening on Spotify,
Uh-huh.
there was just a big sniffer. If you don't know what a sniffer is, start playing Minecraft. That's we're doing Minecraft there.
Yeah, here, let me steal some more pots because that seemed to help keep them out. It's just like, what? We'll just surround us with bots real quick. It's fine. I'm so sorry to anyone that's just listening. It's so stupid. Okay. Let's
Let's
I'm
let's
gonna
keep
have to
going.
fix
Let's
the camera
go.
now. There we
Yeah,
go.
me too. All right. I love that though. Those ideas, how like the creative process. I like the creative process. We're going to talk about it later.
Yeah.
More in depth, but it's so important, like to have this vision of what we are doing and how we are doing it, and it doesn't really matter what kind of, like, if it's from a book or from a movie, but as long as we are like just visionary,
Yeah.
like visioning what the like the end product should be. um it's so important.
It is.
Can you tell me what role does music play in your content?
Oh my god, it's so much. Sorry, I do get excited about the music a little bit. It's a major part, especially since I've learned that I really love doing time lapses. But even way like when I started, it sets a tone. And like I knew right off the bat when I was making videos that it would be a lot of that weird internal monologue that I have, like where I just kind of word vomit and then I splice it all together. So I wanted like quirky music, or if I was lost in the desert, then you got like maybe a Wild West sounding something. But right off the bat, I was doing it, and now it's so incredibly important to me, especially when I'm doing time lapses and stuff, because it sets the tone for the time lapse. So for the Zen Gardens, I used a lot of that like epic fantasy music, and then for the tent time lapse that came out recently, I used that like the waltz, like the ballroom waltz. That was a
Yeah.
little darker, very Penny Dreadful, I guess. Like that, I don't know. But it motivates me, right? Especially if I find a song before I've even finished the build, then I'm motivated to finish the build because I want to use the song. So
Yeah.
it's, yeah. That's kind of.
Can
Sorry, I get
you
really excited.
can you tell me how you choose the music for a time lapse, for example?
If I already know the theme of the build, then I will go just kind of based off of my knowledge. I will go through my sources for safe music to use for content. And then just kind of narrow it down from there. So I might sit there and actually just listen to music for a couple of hours for a day, and then I find something and it really just hits right in my head. Like it just hits
No.
the spot, scratches my brain, and then I just go from there. So um and so, a lot of the times I will find music before I've even finished the build. I've got music picked out for next season of Unorthocast, which is not for a while, but I've got stuff because I already kind of know which direction I'm going. And so I've got it sitting there and I know what kind of builds I want to do to it and how if that makes sense, I'm very
Yeah.
motivated by it. So I as a content creator, and I think this is really important for content creators, have libraries of just songs that you like that are already ready to go. That way you already have a mental library of what you have available to you that you
Yeah.
know you'll like. So you're not at the last minute going, "Oh, I need something for this." You already know you've got a folder or a playlist sitting around with like 10 songs that match, that theme. Um which
Are
is
y-
mhm.
I am more of like I have like usually pretty much the same kind of music all the
Mhm.
time.
Yeah.
Like I have my my intro song, which is yeah, it can change, but it's like in between like 5 songs,
Mhm.
uh,
Which is also
and
good to have.
yeah, it's like 5 6 songs, and I have a fantasy. When if I ever I don't ever do fantasy that much, but if I do, I have a fantasy song that I
Yeah.
can just drag in and play and put in. I
Which is
think I don't put so much thought of what
mhm.
kind of music I have. It just has to flow good
Yeah.
in the video. That's the most important thing. It's
Mhm.
it's it's not how it sounds, it's how it flows in the
Yeah.
video. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And I do like that, having your consistent recognizable songs, because as somebody who views your channel, like we all have those creators, like when you hear that song playing, you know what's coming. You know it's coming.
yeah.
Um
For example, like Good Times with Scar. When you hear
yes,
that
that's what I was just
that
thinking about.
that music come
Yeah,
that music
yeah.
coming, you're like,
That
oh, and then he says like, let's go to a super fast build
so
mode, and
yeah,
you're
you
like,
know it. You
yeah,
start to hear because he does the thing where like it's I forget the technical term right now, but it starts off quiet and then it gets louder and louder until you're at full volume or whatever. But he starts to play it before he's even said let's go super time lapse mode. He's still
yeah,
talking and you hear it, so you know that's coming. And like it's so fun and it's so nice. And I love that. Like if I could be more consistent with my content, honestly, you'd see me doing that more often, where I have
yeah.
something recognizable that you're just kind of anticipating what's coming next.
So has there been a point where you like gone through a build or a recording of an episode or whatever, and you like had a music already done for that episode, and you like
Hmm.
go mid project, and you're like, no, that song, it won't work.
Yeah, I've done that. Oh, I've definitely done that. Season 2, I had that trading hall, and I actually had the music because that trading hall planning took me a while. I had the music already ready, right? I was like, I know this time lapse is going to be this long. I've got these songs all picked out. But then as I was building it, and then I'm editing the replay footage, and I was like, you know what? I think this music seems too peaceful, too slow, and I ended up swapping it to that really just like epic orchestra, like almost trailer score music. Like I was like, no, no, we need something big. Like,
Yeah,
I've definitely
yeah.
done that.
So if we take away from content
Hmm.
creation is always so pressuring.
Hmm.
But when you start up Minecraft, so let's do a little break. So do you have Minecraft music on or off?
Lately I've actually had the music off because I tend to just be listening to something off to the side anyway. Um, but usually after an update that they've had new songs added, I'll keep it on for a bit, listen through the new songs. 'Cause some of them are really good, and that was part of the draw to Minecraft when I first started playing was the music. I was like, this is really, really relaxing. Like,
Yeah, like when it's like the game speaks to you.
mm-hmm.
It's like it knows your mood. So
Yes.
it's so hard to describe, but when you feel like down and then Sweden start going in the background, and you're like, oh, this is soothing.
This is
This is
nice.
this is
Yeah.
nice.
Uh,
Or when you're in the caves and something. And I know that it's hard coded into the game. This game
I know,
can't
I
read
know.
our my, but it doesn't take away from the magical moments.
No, it
Uh, I,
doesn't.
I don't know if there is any game that has better music than Minecraft. Actually,
I do love.
Mm,
I think it's one of the top soundtracks, like original soundtracks of all time. Honestly,
mm,
it's up there. Like, so I know Baldur's Gate is still relatively new to a lot of people, but Baldur's Gate sits up there. Skyrim. It's
yeah.
that recognizable, and it like puts you in a mood. Like I remember Skyrim, hearing that music and getting into the world for the first time, and I wasn't just somebody playing a role playing game. I was an
Mm,
adventurer. I was going out. I was like, it gets you in the right mindset. So if a game has great music, like you're in it, you're in that.
yeah.
It's part of that kind of escapism and that fun and that relaxation. Because I've definitely played some games where the music did not match the vibe, and nothing takes you out of that game more than music that doesn't match
No,
what's going on.
I think I played some Cyberpunk, uh, like, and I don't like the music in the Cyberpunk. I don't know why. It
Quite
should be like,
controversial.
yeah, yeah. It's a hot take. Teach doesn't like Cyberpunk music. Oof. Um,
No, but I get
but
it.
yeah, and the game just becomes bad. It,
Yeah, you put
that
your own
like
music on.
yeah. Yeah, I don't really. It's a like music is such an important thing. I'm always
Mm-hmm.
playing with music on. Not when I'm recording though, because you never know. You never know. You don't
Mm-mm.
do that mistake twice. Uh, so what's on your playlist now?
Like my just the playlist I
Gaming
listen
session. Yeah, when you game.
when I like the music that
Yeah, the music.
that I like right now from video games. Is that what you're
Yeah.
asking?
Or
Oh,
no, well, what's on your playlist when you start a gaming session? What's
uh-huh.
on your
Oh, like
playlist?
what I'm listening to while I play games that isn't the
Yeah.
gaming music? Oh, okay. Depends on the mood of the game. Honestly, like Minecraft, I find myself listening to. I have a playlist called Just Girly Things, and it's mostly like pop female artists, with the occasional just kind of like fun, funky thing. Or I'll listen to like my workout playlist called Bob Sweet. I don't like long story for the name, but it's a workout playlist. But it's all like that like EDM or house music or even some of that top 40 dancey dance types. Um, that's typically what I listen to. But if I'm in Minecraft and I'm just like resource gathering or something, I have one that I made for studying, but it's all like that American roots rock or like folk inspired, um, like Kaleo and Black Keys and stuff like that, where you can hear that like old roots rock. I know Kaleo is not American, but it still falls under the roots rock category. um,
Mm.
but
Because
yeah,
you're getting old. Listen to the Black Keys.
I love the Black Keys. Okay.
Yeah, the Black Keys are amazing, but they are.
Yeah. I'm sure there's
Have they
some newer
released any?
people. I
Yeah,
just I
I
listen
I
to so many things.
Yesterday, I sat down and listened to Matchbox 20. So
That made you feel very old.
yeah, like Rob Thomas, I play like this smooth, and I'm like, oh, this can't be that old. It's made
Oh
in the
yeah, no.
90s.
Uh-huh.
It's like,
Yeah, I made that playlist recently that was all of the if you went through an emo phase in high school, essentially, this is the playlist for you. And it was like, My Chemical Romance and stuff, but it was also like Jimmy Eat World and Yellow Card and like
yeah.
all of that. I
I
was like,
listened to
mm.
this Swedish band called The Hives,
Mm-hmm.
which is like punkish music. I listen to like everything from hip hop to yeah,
Same.
yeah,
My playlist, I think it would
but
scare people.
yeah, I think mine too. Like or when I come home, like music is so important for me though. So when I come home, I usually listen to like
Mm-hmm.
lo-fi. I love lo-fi. It's like this
Yes.
elevator music.
The elevator, you're like, let me turn my brain off right now. My
Yeah.
equivalent to that, I think, is the actual like folk I have. I call it, the playlist is called Pile of Paper, okay? And it's basically what it's like if you were just in a room with a typewriter and the windows open and just kind of like that, but it's all that like storytelling folk music. So, like the Oh Hellos and those kinds of bands where it's just fun and it's not fun, but it's lighthearted folk music essentially. You
Mm,
know, that's my
I
equivalent to
guess.
the lo-fi situation.
All right. Yeah. Let's get deep again.
Okay, okay.
Deep.
Putting my
Yeah.
serious face on.
Yeah. Uh, so, can you tell me how do you think the emotional impact of music compares to visual elements in your content creation?
The emotional impact is way more for me than I think a lot of people think, probably. I'm very influenced by music, and the music that I listen to in a day will influence how the rest of my day goes, which is why I'm so particular about all of my crazy playlists. Um, because if I've listened to something that's super hype that goes like if I'm listening to like funk, okay, which I do sometimes because I don't know, sometimes I need music that's louder than my brain, then you're gonna see that reflect back in what I build. Like it might be a little darker, it might be a little harder, more scattered, that kind of thing. Versus, when I was doing the Zen garden, right? You see the trees and the pretty. I have a playlist called the Imaginarium that just has a lot of like film scores, video game music, that kind of stuff. And I was catching all the relaxing ones. So um, but if I had gone into the Zen garden listening to like my pop playlist, you probably would have found more like hot pinks and stuff like that here rather than the softer pinks, If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like that's just how my brain works. It's very unfortunate that it gets swayed by music that hard, but it does. Like um
I get it. I get it. Music is like people don't really. I think people don't really think of the impact of music in content creation at all.
mm-mm,
I don't. When I watch like whoever, I don't think of music.
mm-mm.
But the impact of music is so huge.
Yeah, or lack of music. I've had watch videos from creators and they don't use music at all sometimes. And like where there's also dead silences when they're not talking and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's so stark. It's like this. Oh, the sniffer is back in my camera view. Help. Oh God. Help.
Yeah,
um yeah, it's
it really is
it's
back.
so impactful though because the whole silence is deafening thing, like that situation. Guy, please, we're trying to have a serious conversation right now.
Yeah, it's like it's so hard.
We'll just move the camera to the side temporarily. um but yeah, like that's kind of, the side is almost better. I can see your eyeballs better. We're staying here anyway. It's that, or if they use the wrong kind, like they're like, we're gonna build a nice swimming pool with some floaties, and then they're playing metal overhead. I'm
Yeah.
like, what? I mean, to each their own. Each creator can do whatever they want, honestly. But like, sometimes I'm just confused. And it definitely affects my mood. I'm like, oh.
I get that. Like many times, I actually sometimes like I just shut the video down. I'm like, nah, okay, the music was bad today.
Just turn the volume down.
Yeah,
Mhm.
or I put it in like I just press like the silence button and then I put like in 2.5 times speed or something like that.
Mhm. Yeah. I'm like, I
Because it
still want to
turns.
support you, friend, but I
Yeah,
can't right now. I can't.
the, no, that's what we are all like. I think we all do that.
Yeah.
Or how do you balance inspirations, these inspirations to create something unique in Minecraft? How do you balance everything?
Balance the books and the music inspos.
Mm. Yeah,
Because I want things to be uniquely mine. Like, I don't want to be like, hey, I built this castle from this book exactly. I've never been that kind of person. Like, maybe occasionally I might sprinkle a little tiny, teeny, tiny build like that, but for the most part, so far, I just, yeah. So I take like key elements, right? Um, like from Caraval, I took like the key elements of the tent and the drapery and the color schemes that I found in not the tent or the building's fabrics, it was the people's fabrics, the costumes that were described in the book. So that's the color scheme for my tents, and then the kind of like darkness from it. Like in Caravel, there's no swamp, there's none of that. There's obviously no wardens. But I just
yeah,
wanted that element of like, it's a different setting than you would normally find for a circus, right? Like, usually a circus, you're sitting out in a field or it's in a parking lot or something. Like, no. I wanted that element because Caraval is on an island. And obviously, my land base was not an island, but I
I
could
mean,
make it
no,
island like or make it feel that way, you know? Um, so you just take keywords and key elements and then combine them with your own brains and your own creativity, your unique creativity, I guess. Yeah.
yeah, that sounds very deep answer. But it is very deep. I mean, it's creative processes are deep.
Hmm.
They are deep inside of us,
They are.
always. And you never. It's also very philosophical in what kind of person you are.
Hmm.
I guess.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
you walk? You have already walked us through the process of developing an idea from that inspiration to the final
Hmm.
project. How do you choose that though?
How do I
Like
choose
when
it?
you, yeah,
It's really just what brings me joy and motivation. Like, and also it's my headspace at that time and all of that, and the music I listen to and whatever media I'm consuming. um so with books, I tend to watch, so if I'm reading a book that I particularly like, I tend to also be watching shows that are kind of the same genre or theme, because I'm like in that. I'm hyper focused, bro. I'm one of those. I'm like, I'm gonna make this my personality for the next month, you know? Um,
yeah,
so I really just kind of surround myself with that genre or that theme or those emotions that it invokes. Um, I just lost my train of thought, Teach. But yeah, no. Um, so it's really the motivation that it brings. Obviously, if I've read a book about some butt kicking adventurers and they just beat the big bad, dude, I finished that book and I am hyped. I am ready. And now I'm expelling that hyped, ready energy onto the server or onto whatever game I'm playing or other creative endeavors I'm doing. Like it's
Oh,
going out into the world.
I think our server is now like hyped. Now it's changed
hmm
weather.
Oh
It's
yeah, yeah.
raining. It's
What?
raining
It's
now.
nice vibes though. It's nice.
Yeah,
It's nice vibes.
it's like here, have rain.
Have some rain. Hey, but we're in a nice,
we
cute covered gazebo.
yeah, yeah, with leaves. So it's dripping a little bit, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's
It's fine.
just it's Jam's microphone, so
I know.
it's
I'm
not
worried
even
about
our.
the electronics right now.
Yeah, but
Jesus.
Jam is rich on the server. So
He'll be fine.
yeah,
Uh,
he has like a lot of these. Um, so when you do like a project
hmm
and you combine everything, you have read the book and
hmm
you're like hyped.
hmm
Has it ever been like you like go into that project and you're like, no, this is not gonna work?
I think I've
When you have,
probably had that. Yeah, I'm sure. I can't think of any specifics, but like I'm sure I've had that. Because sometimes things don't like pan out or work, or sometimes life gets in the way and it changes your motivation or mood. Because
yeah,
obviously the way you are every day is influenced by so many factors, even ones that you aren't even aware exist. So, like, yes, I could have read a book or listened to a song and been motivated to build something glorious. But then I get on the server and I'm like, oh, but then I have to build these farms and my kids are being crazy and I have to make dinner tonight. And then it just kind of like wears me down a little bit. And then I'm like, you know what? No, I don't want to do this anymore. And sometimes I'll come and revisit that, but if it's not there, it's not there, and I'm not going to force it. Oh, it's fine. I still write it down in my little ideas list. So if I ever want to go back, I can, but most of the time it just gets lost.
all right. Last question
Okay.
for this segment. What's the most unexpected inspiration that you have gotten from? Like when you're like, oh, this was surprising. Like
Um,
for a pod.
I, you know, all the books I've read, man, there's probably some really unsuspecting things. I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, and I wasn't gonna get too much into it because of the specific genre, but I read a lot of romance, right? So some
Mm,
unsuspecting things can come from those because there is world building in them, right? There's character growth, there's like all of this. So sometimes even from these where I just want to read a little happy ending book and kick my feet and giggle, and next thing I know, I'm like, what would be really cool is this big mansion covered in vines and roses. Like, it's just like, I don't suspect it. Or it'll be like a character who is like cursed or something. And then I'm sitting there going like, how do I make that happen in Minecraft? Like, it's just stupid. Okay. Those are usually
yeah.
the most unsuspecting ones, though, is like the genres that I least expect it to come from.
So, thank you, Sunny,
Yeah,
for
yeah. This has been great.
this has been amazing podcast, and thank you for taking your time to
Mhm.
answer. Coming into, I would say my world, but this is your your base. So thank you for letting us use your base.
Oh, for sure,
Um,
for sure.
um, and if you guys wanna go and follow Sunny in the link description below,
Same name
well,
everywhere.
yeah,
Literally.
Sunny Spacecraft. So yeah, and I think are we done?
I think we're done. I think we're
I think
done.
yeah, I think
Well, I hope you guys did enjoy that lovely speech between Teach and Sunny Spacecraft. Please go give them a follow. All the links in the description below. And I hope you join us for another Unorthoblocks podcast next week with yet another Unortho person one on one conversation. And we'll see y'all then.